Hello, friends, and welcome back to our homestead. Today, I would like to share with you few little tricks to have to know in order to be prepared for this flu season that is circling around right now. I feel like everywhere I turn, someone is sick, including myself. I picked it up and I ended up being sick over the holidays. So, let me show you a couple of things that we can do to be better prepared and things we can do to address the illness once we are sick. So I have a big basket here of dried sage. This is a common culinary sage that grows in my backyard, and I grow a lot of it. So I harvested a lot of it. I dried it already. It's nice and dry. And now I'm going to be preparing medicine out of it. There are many different medicines out there, and I'm going to just touch base about a couple of them, how we can tell the difference what's what and how to use it. Okay, so and then I will show you how to use sage for the cold flu season. But I mean, sage is wonderful in other in for other things. So I made actually I made a list. Sorry, I made a list so I don't miss anything up. So sage is wonderful as an antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, anti-cancer. It contains a lot of neuroprotective properties to improve memory and concentration. It has 160 different distinct polyphenols that act as antioxidants. So they have lots and lots of protective duties in our body, cleansing duties. They also can help, the sage can help to reduce the bad cholesterol and improve the good cholesterol, HDL. So if you take them in small quantities every day, like as tea, it can be helpful for cholesterol. It is antibacterial, specifically antibacterial. It can help to fight against streptococcus. All right, there's a study done in early 2000s, I can't remember when, but it showed that it can help in reduction in dry mouth. So that's something that I am excited to learn because I'm struggling with that. So then also for menopause symptoms, it can help because it has astringent properties, it helps to reduce those negative, unpleasant menopause symptoms, hot flashes, that sort of thing. And then it even helps with diabetes by reducing blood sugar and insulin resistance. So there are a lot of good properties in this common sage, not just for cooking with chicken and turkey. Okay, sage. So sage, I'm going to be preparing, showing you that a little bit later. But right now, I want to bring my camera a little closer, and I want to show you a couple of different preparations for sage, because sage can be made as tea, sage can be made as an infusion, and sage can become decoction, which is usually used as cough syrup, as flu medicine. So let's talk about the differences between all of them, and not to mistake them as a tincture. A tincture is something totally different. A tincture is extraction of an herb into an alcohol or other solvent, very strong solvent such as alcohol. Some tinctures can be made with vinegars, with less stronger alcohols, even with glycerins. But my favorite, and I always use vodka, 100 proof vodka, because it has 50% alcohol, 50% water. That is my favorite to use. But there are even stronger ones when they use 190 proof grain alcohols, much, much stronger alcohols. Anyway, and also not to confuse with essential oil. Many people confuse between a tincture that is taken in drops, literally in drops, and many tinctures will say 10 drops, 15 drops, 30 drops, and it's usually put in a small amount, dilute with a little bit of water, and you can take it that way, or it can be dropped directly under the tongue, allowing that quick absorption through the blood vessels under the tongue. But my favorite way is to put in a little bit of water, mix it in, and drink it that way. Again, that is a tincture, very different than tea, decoction, or infusion, and definitely very different than essential oil. They're both extractions, but very different and not to be confused. So tincture is usually alcohol or other kind of solvent, whereas essential oil is very different. And I personally do not recommend taking any essential oils internally. 1 drop of good quality of essential oil is equivalent to 30 cups of tea. Can you imagine drinking 30 cups of tea at once of sage? I can't imagine. And there are going to be definitely side effects. So I'm going to say no. So that is how strong good quality essential oil is. So essential oils are usually used as infusion in like a diffuser in the room, or mixed in with some sort of oil and applied topically, but I do not recommend taking essential oils internally. I'm sure I'm going to receive comments below, and feel free to leave a comment of your experiences with essential oils. It's just, in my experiences, I don't recommend it. Okay, they are usually not designed for that. There may be some exceptions. However, they're usually not for internal use. Okay, they're usually for external use only. All right, that's essential oil. But that's not what the video is about today. Today's video is about how I'm going to make medicine, homemade remedy, with my homegrown and dried sage. So let me talk to you the differences how we can make it, because we can make it as tea, as infusion and decoction. And what is the difference? We probably used to making tea with these little tea bags. We put them in a cup, we dunk a few times, and we think that that's tea. Unfortunately, most of the products inside of these tea bags are not a very good quality. So I would not advise it. I mean, this is something quick maybe, but again, we just steep it for a minute or so, not even a minute sometimes, and that's it for our tea. What really tea means is that when we are actually infusing it for at least 5 to 10 minutes. So I'm going to measure out 1 ounce of dried, 1 ounce. And I'm going to put it in here into a little teapot with a little strainer. I have a little strainer. I'm going to put it inside, okay? And that is going to be for my tea. I already have boiling water on the side, and I'm just going to cover everything with boiling water, and I'm going to allow it to sit and steep for about 10 minutes or so. How much water? Probably is about a pint in here of water. Okay, so let that sit and steep. And what I like to do when I steep all of my teas, I always cover them up with a towel. That's what my mama used to do, and that's what I do as well. Little extra heat trapped in here helps this tea to become a little bit more concentrated and flavorful. Okay, so that's tea. That's going to sit here for about 10 minutes or so. But let's talk about an infusion. I'm going to make an infusion. Infusion is different than tea, is because we actually infuse it for much, much longer. Again, I need about 1 ounce of dried herb. Okay, about 1 ounce here of dried herb. And I'm going to put that inside also of a teapot. I'm just going to crush it up a little bit, because the more surface area is exposed, the better. Okay, as a matter of fact, I remember one lady from Uzbekistan taught me that you take a leaf and you actually roll it between your fingers and your hands like this to release more of that aroma. Okay, so that's what I did here. And I'm also going to cover that up with boiling water. Okay, and I'm also going to cover that up, not allowing any of the steam to escape. And also I'm going to cover that with a towel and let this sit as well and steep, but I will show you the difference between tea and an infusion. So there are two different types of infusions. There can be a cold infusion, like a cold brew, and a hot infusion. Okay, the difference is just as that the cold infusion is going to take a much longer time to actually infuse, because all you do is you take your herb and you immerse it in the cold fluid, clean water. You cover that and you put it in the fridge, usually overnight or something, and it does its infusion through a cold method. That is usually a much weaker infusion, and it's more of a like a pleasant type of drink. It's usually has limited medicinal properties in it because it's much weaker. Now, a hot infusion is when it sits, just like as I showed you. You take the herb and you cover that with fresh boiled water, very clean water, and you allow that to infuse over a period of time. How much time? Well, some herbs don't need that much time, anywhere from, I don't know, maybe an hour and all the way overnight. Okay, so yes, so infusions are much stronger than teas by a lot. So it depends on how long it's been infused. That's how much stronger it will be. Also depends on how little it was crushed up, how much surface area was exposed. That's how stronger the infusion will be. I prefer to infuse as little as an hour, up to 4 hours, or even overnight. And then you strain it in the morning, or at the end of your infusion. You squeeze everything through a cheesecloth, and now you have a very strong medicine. Okay, it's usually that infusion is not consumed by whole cups because they will be very strong. Instead, you enjoy them in ounces, in smaller amounts, okay, throughout the day, because now it is room temperature. It's no longer hot because the hot extraction happened in the beginning, right? And you enjoy it as a home remedy, as a medicinal property throughout the day. Now, infusions have a shorter shelf life. They don't last. You can't just make it live, let it sit on your counter for days and days and days. No. I mean, I can keep it in the fridge for a couple of days. Unless you put it some sort of a preservative, such as alcohol, it will not last a long time. But I usually make it frequently if someone is sick and we use it up, and I make more for the next day. Okay, so we're making infusion, hot infusion of sage. I covered it with a towel. It's going to sit in this teapot for at least an hour, up to 4 hours, or even overnight. Okay, so tea is very weak, 10 minutes or so, and it's done. Infusion is much stronger because it infuses for a long period of time. Okay, now, what is a decoction? That is something totally different than an infusion. So let me talk to you about that and show you how it can be done with sage. Okay, so let's make a decoction. Okay, so again, there are two different types of decoctions. One is the simple one, and one is a concentrated decoction. So what is the difference? The difference between them is that decoction, yes, is much stronger than an infusion. Why? It's much more concentrated because it is actually cooked on the fire. So infusion is sitting there in my teapot right now, and literally infusing in a teapot. Okay, there's boiling water inside and the slow release of herbal properties into the water. That's infusion. It's infusing for several hours. Decoction, my friends, is actually cooked on heat. Okay, so the extraction is going to be through a boiling process. Okay, not all herbs qualify for decoction. So those herbs that are high in volatile oils or have lots of resin in them should not be used for decoction. Okay, why? Because those oils will be destroyed in the cooking process, and actually they can become a little toxic and stuff, so avoid that. But sage qualifies. I'm going to make a decoction. As I mentioned, there are two different types of decoction. Simple, because that is boiled for a short period of time, anywhere from 15 minutes, 30 minutes, maybe even a little bit longer. That's it. Very short amount of boiling, okay? Where is concentrated decoction is when it requires to be boiled until the amount of liquid is reduced, sometimes by 1/4, sometimes by 1/3, sometimes by half of the original amount. So you can imagine that that decoction will be super concentrated and a little bit more bitter, and definitely has to be used in small amounts, okay, small amounts. All right, so let me show you how I'm going to make a simple cold decoction using sage. The ingredients I'm going to need, well, obviously I'm going to need sage, and I have 1 ounce of sage here. I'm going to need juice of a fresh lemon, okay? I'm going to need a pinch of cayenne pepper. I'm going to need clean water. I'm going to cook everything in the pot, and I need some honey. And this is our home grown honey, organic, unpasteurized, real honey over here from our bees. All right, decoction should not be cooked in all kinds of vessels. Stainless steel is my favorite because you don't want any contamination in here. So let me show you. It's pretty simple, pretty fun, and it's going to be simple. So 15 minutes, it's done. Decoctions are always made starting from cold water. All right, so I'm gonna need 3 cups of water here. Okay, 3 cups of water, and to that I'm gonna be adding 1 ounce of dried herbs. And as always, I'm gonna break them up in my hands so more surface area is exposed. Okay, just like this. If I was using some sort of a bark in here, I know that then the cooking time will be a little bit longer than just 15 minutes. And I'm also going to put a dash of cayenne pepper, not too much. I'm going to turn the heat on. And I'm going to allow it to come to a boil. I will put a cover on because I don't want anything to escape at this point. I don't want anything to escape to the steam. I want it to come to a boil, and I'm going to turn the heat down. I'm going to cook for the next 15 minutes, nice and slow, and simmer. Okay, so while the decoction is cooking and my infusion is infusing, this tea has been sitting here for exactly 10 minutes. And look at this beautiful color, light amber color. The aroma is very pleasant. It's very earthy. It's very, very pleasant. Oh, I love it. It's so, so good. It's very hot. All right, so I can flavor this right now with a little bit of honey. I can put a little lemon in it, but it can be enjoyed just like this. It's a beautiful tea. 1 ounce of dried herb to about a pint, a little bit more of water I had in here. And this is just steeped for 10 minutes. And let me tell you, it's a beautiful, beautiful tea. But this is tea. It's the weakest form of any kind of herbal preparation. The next level up will be our infusion, and this is infusing right now in this teapot for the next at least 4 hours. I think I'm gonna do, and I'll check on it in 4 hours, let it stay nice and covered. And my decoction is cooking as we speak. Okay, this has cooked, this decoction, in it for about 15 minutes, and then I let it sit just to cool off a bit for the next 5 minutes, and decoction is done. All right, so this is what it came out to be: much darker in color, much stronger in aroma. I can smell it, definitely much stronger than the tea we made. Well, decoction is a very strong medicine. And like I said, not all herbs can be put through the decoction process because of the volatile oils. But this is a simple decoction. It's a quick one, not the long one that you need to reduce by a lot. Okay, so to this now I'm going to be adding some lemon. I'm going to be adding juice of 1 fresh lemon. Okay, I'm just going to squeeze that all in here. Okay. Squeeze that all in here. It's so, oh, goodness, spilling it here. It's already getting lighter because of the lemon juice. Okay. And also I'm going to be adding some honey to taste. How much honey? It should be literally to taste. I'm going to be putting probably about, to this amount, I'm going to be putting about a tablespoon. Okay, just a nice generous tablespoon. I'm going to stir that all in. I never put honey into boiling water, but this already has cooled off. So this is our flue sage decoction, okay, that cooked for 15 minutes. So this is a simple decoction. All right, so now this can go and be stored in a jar or something like that and cooled off and sit in the fridge. And this can be used in small amounts throughout the day continuously. How much? Probably about a tablespoon or so every time you want to, every couple of hours when somebody is feeling tickle in their throat, a little upper respiratory infection or flu or something like that. Okay, so let's give it a little taste. So this is our decoction here. We don't use a lot of it. It's medicine. It's not like it's a teacup where we're going to be drinking the whole tea. This is probably about 2 tablespoons here. Very pleasant aroma. Much stronger than tea. Way more stronger than tea. So let's give it a taste. Oh, yes. I'm feeling it in my throat. Oh, yes. So that cayenne pepper definitely showing its colors. And the sage is much stronger, and I can taste the lemon juice and a little bit of honey. I can probably add a little bit more honey. This was not enough. I think I could use more honey, but this is a wonderful home remedy sage decoction to use in case of cold, flu, throat infections, that sort of thing. It's wonderful. Very good. So right now, all I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put everything in a jar, just like this. And once it cools off a little bit more, I'm gonna put it in refrigerator and use it for the next couple of days for myself and for my family. I never put anything hot in the fridge. It needs to chance to cool off. Okay, so again, this was decoction. Now my infusion is gonna sit, I don't know, for at least another couple of hours or so, because infusion is a slow process of infusing those properties from the herb, whatever herb that may be, into the liquid. And if this was say a seed, like rose hips, for example, you know, I love to make home remedies with rose hips because they're so high in vitamin C. So rose hip probably, because they're so nice, dry little nubs, they need 3-4 hours at least to get infused into the liquid for infusion. But leaves and the aerial parts of the plants, 1 hour might be enough, but I like it the longer the better, because the stronger will be. And then again, you don't drink it by cupfuls because it's no longer tea. You don't drink it for enjoyment of tea. You use it for, or at least I use it for, medicinal purposes in small amounts, about an ounce, half an ounce, few times throughout the day. So again, to review real quick, tea, it's your weak 5-10 minute steeping type of business, okay? Then we have infusions. We have cold, we have hot. Cold is weaker, hot is stronger, and you need several hours for the infusion to take place, okay? And it's going to be much stronger than tea, okay, because it's an infusion. Now, step up above that is going to be decoction. It is a much more concentrated, much more stronger than infusion. And we have 2 different types. We have the simple one, like we just did, I showed you, where it cooks for about 15-20 minutes on low heat, simmering, bubbling, doing its thing, and then you strain it, okay? That is a simple one. Or the concentrated decoction is when it cooks on a low heat for a prolonged period of time until it's reduced by a certain amount, by 1/4, by 1/3, or even by half in volume, okay? Now, if you have a wood stove, okay, that is a perfect place to put that in the pot. Make sure it's nice and nicely covered, and you let it sit and do its thing for a few hours until it's reduced by half. It's going to be one strong homemade medicine. Now, everything I'm sharing here, Please don't take it as medical advice. Please. I don't want to get one of those messages saying, well, Lilia recommended. Okay, please do your own research. Please talk to your healthcare providers, whoever they may be, natural or allopathic, whatever you like. This is what I do in my home. This is, as a homesteader, this is what I do. I equip myself with books, many different herbal books. I grow herbs, as many as I can, those that I know we will be using, those that grow well in my season, in my growing area, and we preserve them, we prepare, we store away for a cold season, because guess what? It is here. Many of my local friends reach out to me last minute saying, oh my goodness, my child is sick. Oh my goodness, I'm not feeling well. Lilia, do you have any herbs to share or any remedies to share? And it breaks my heart, because I've been telling you time and time again, please be prepared. The flu season is here. It's coming. We knew about this for a long time. So don't get caught in the middle of the night with nothing available, okay? And then panic for a little bit and call somebody. I say, learn how to grow it, learn how to store it, learn how to use them. Get yourself a few good herbal books. If you're not sure what to get, I have a video of all of my favorite herbal books, and I'll put up a link for you guys so you can watch that and learn. And, learn the difference between teas and infusions and decoction, and make something for your family, okay? So on this note, friends, I hope you are encouraged and try something new.